The SR22 is a handgun that was introduced in 2012. It's chambered in .22 long rifle, and it's a great training tool for kids and anybody new into firearms. And even if you have been into firearms in the past, it's also a great training tool for just working on your fundamentals. Now, I have shot about 1500 rounds through this handgun, so I have seen the good and the ugly of it. And I'll also be reviewing the Mark IV from Ruger, and I'll be reviewing the Glock 44, and eventually I will be comparing the three of them and different types of ammunition. And with that said, let's jump into the features and deficiencies of this gun. So grab your cup of coffee and let's jump right into it. The grip is made out of rubber with serrations on the sides and back for an aggressive grip. It is a thin grip, making it great for people with small hands like me or children. It may be a little uncomfortable for people with larger hands. The gun does come with an extra grip as they are interchangeable. The manual suggests to remove the grip with just your hands, but I find it very difficult to do so. So I use 2 screwdrivers with electrical tape on it for leverage to remove the grip. The pistol also comes with 2 magazines and 2 extra floor covers. The magazines hold 10 rounds, making it a 10+1 when fully loaded. It's very easy to disassemble the magazines, which you just press the button on the magazine floor and slide off the cover. The magazines will get dirty faster if you shoot suppressed, and reliability will drop if not cleaned properly. The debris will add friction to the follower, preventing it from properly loading a round into the chamber, especially with subsonic ammunition, and can cause malfunctions as it has happened to me. The magazine release is ambidextrous, which is very nice for lefties. The gun has a magazine safety where the trigger won't function if a magazine is not inserted. The trigger is curved for those who like that design. Also, the trigger guard is very wide, which is amazing for shooting with gloves on, especially during winter. The gun's first trigger pull is double action, with subsequent pulls being single action. The gun can also be manually operated as a single action by cocking the hammer first, then firing. Again, the trigger won't function if there is no magazine inserted or if the safety is on. The gun can also be dry fired, granted that the gun is cleared properly and that there is no rounds in the chamber. To dry fire double action, you just have to insert an empty magazine, turn the safety off, and pull the trigger. For single action dry fire, the hammer is cocked back manually and then pull the trigger. Now, the gun has a thumb safety, and I used to hate thumb safeties. Like, I could not stand them until I wanted to train my knees into firearms. And after that, I really came to appreciate thumb safeties, especially on a gun like this, a .22 long rifle, which is great for training, like, kids and whatnot. The safety is ambidextrous, which again is really nice for lefties and to train with both hands. The serrations on the safety are a nice touch for engaging it and disengaging it. The red indicator lets you know that it's on fire if it's flipped up. Flipping it down turns the safety on. It's important to know that the safety has to be fully engaged one way or another and not in the middle. If it's in the middle, it can malfunction and fire unintendedly. When the safety is turned on, it blocks the firing pin and the hammer. Also, if the gun is cocked with the safety off, but you turn the safety on, the hammer is decocked. If the safety is off, rack the slide open, then turn on the safety, and then close the slide. The hammer is decocked as the slide closes. Now, the only problem that I have with the safety is that every once in a while I accidentally turn the safety on, and that is because of the way I grip the gun. And I mean, that's kind of an operator error thing. I just kind of have to train with it. But that's kind of the only problem that I have with the safety, or I mean the thumb safety. Also, the gun has no drop safety, which means that if the gun is loaded and you drop it, it's very likely that the gun is going to set off and fire a round, which you don't want to do. So you gotta be very careful with a loaded handgun. I mean, with loaded SR22 and make sure that you don't drop it at all. The rail on the pistol is an M1913 rail, which will take any attachments like lights and lasers made to mil-spec size. The slide is made of aircraft aluminum alloy that makes it very lightweight. The serrations on the back are really nice for racking the slide. I find the serrations on the front to be quite useless. The slide lock is not leftist friendly since there is only one on one side of the gun. It's easy to be operated, but again it's not ergonomically friendly for training lefties or for training with both hands. There's also a hole on top of the slide that's a chamber indicator, but there is no physical chamber indicator. The front and rear sides are dots, are adjustable, and the rear sides can be reversed to be just black by removing the screw on the side, but just be careful to not lose the spring inside. Then just reverse the side plate. The top screw is for elevation. Just be careful of not losing the spring inside or placing it in the wrong hole, as it happened to me, and I ended up damaging it a little. The side screw is for windage, and a precision screwdriver is needed for adjustment. The takedown of the gun is not the easiest, but it's not too difficult. It's necessary to know this cleanup, especially for 22 long rifle ammunition. To start off, clear the gun off, safety on, flip the lever under the frame, remove the thread adapter if you have one, rack the slide open, lift the slide, and then it comes out. Reassembly is doing all the steps in reverse. The barrel is fixed with a screw, making it a straight blowback system. A screw holds it in place. The original barrel was not threaded, so I got a threaded barrel from Ruger that came with an extra screw, washer, and thread protector. I usually put Dextran oil on the threads after cleanup before threading the suppressor on. Now when I shoot this gun, I usually shoot it suppressed. I don't usually shoot it not suppressed, and the ammunition that I usually use is Aguila standard velocity. Pretty much any ammunition that I shoot with it shoots subsonic out of this barrel because it's only like 3 inches or so. So any ammunition that you get out there is usually rated for longer barrels, like the velocity of it. But with this barrel being this short, like you're not gonna have any issues most likely of it being subsonic. The suppressor does cause extra debris in the firing pin area, mag well, and the magazine. I pushed it to about 1,000 rounds without cleanup until it started malfunctioning, with the slide getting stuck in the action and the magazine not loading properly. It's important to clean the part of the slide next to the barrel, the firing pin area, the frame, and the magazine every once in a while if shooting suppressed. So enough of the specs, and let's take the gun over to the range. I'm gonna test different types of ammunition for velocity and accuracy. Alright, so I'm gonna be shooting the I'll be shooting the 22 Aguila pistol match. There's standard velocity, 40 grain. Shooting it
889, 881, 877, 892, 858.
Okay, now I'm gonna shoot the federal match. I believe these ones are rated for like 1200 feet per second. That's the velocity they're rated for.
1018, 1060, 1020, 1010, 1023, 10-10.
And now I'm gonna shoot the Federal American Eagle 38 grain. I believe these ones are standard velocity as well.
842. 881. 1008. 772. 915. 918.
And now I have some Winchester subsonics.
898.
Got a malfunction there.
$896. 908. 876. 881. 854.
And the last box I'm gonna shoot is the Ely 40 grain target ammunition. So let's see what velocities we get out of this one.
830. 873. 857. 843. 889. 880. 870.
So the average velocities that I got for Aguila standard velocity ammunition was 879 feet per second. For Federal Match was 1,016 feet per second. For Ely target ammunition was 862 feet per second. And for Winchester subsonic ammunition was 883 feet per second. Now I did have some issues with Winchester ammunition, and that was mainly because the gun was very dirty. I hadn't cleaned it in a while, and I was kind of doing that on purpose so that I could make a video on how to clean up like the upper and whatnot. It's one of the reasons for it, and the other one was that I got kind of lazy with cleaning this gun. But nonetheless, I have shot Ely ammunition in the past, like Ely subsonic ammunition, and it has functioned properly. And with Winchester ammunition, subsonic, I have had it function properly when it was like pretty new. Also, the gun was shooting to the right, and that is mainly because I had not adjusted the windage on it, which I totally forgot to bring my precision screwdriver, which I left at home. So that is that. Final thoughts. The SR22 has become the funnest gun that I have shot. It's definitely like one of my favorite guns that I have ever touched and shot. But the biggest problem that I have had with it has been operator error. And that is that because of the trigger being very light, and I know a lot of people hate this trigger on this gun, I don't know why, but I love it. Anyway, the trigger being very crisp, and the recoil of the 22 long rifle has made me very sloppy. So after shooting it for a while and being my main gun of training with, I go and pick up a Glock, and all of a sudden I'm shooting like garbage. Like I'm flinching, and I don't have proper grip on it. Well, that all came from shooting this gun, that I got too comfortable with it and I was not applying my fundamentals to shooting properly. So that is one thing you gotta kind of keep in mind if you're new into shooting and trying different calibers and trying to figure out what to practice with and whatnot. I hadn't had that issue happen with like my BB gun. Actually, my BB gun made me much more better at shooting, but this gun made me much worse. And now I'm very cognitive of applying my fundamentals to shooting. Outside of those issues, this gun is so amazing. I love it. I recommend anybody getting it, especially people with smaller hands. And with that said, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.